Greetings, this is Jazz for JazReviews, and without delay, this is my review for Grand Theft Auto V, developed and published by Rockstar. Returning to the lands of San Andreas, the city of Los Santos is based of course on Los Angeles. And in doing so, what we have here is a very condensed, vibrant city bursting with nothing but sheer content. Any first look at the map's actual city is very deceiving. This is the biggest GTA game to date in terms of detail. Buildings and road networks are cram-jammed, just as they would be in the real-world counterpart. The rest of Blaine County's desert and plains are once again a technical marvel, which can be traversed with absolutely no loading screens. Straight off the bat, I'll throw out one criticism. RAM memory problems clearly limit the portion of pedestrians in Los Santos. The city is not as believable or even close to the realism of Grand Theft Auto 4's New York. However, amongst other animals, there are now dogs in the game. I actually laughed out loud when I kicked this poor dog in the face. With three main characters, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, the game now allows the player to switch between characters as and when needed in the main missions, and whenever during free roam. The system is genius. There are two benefits. One, narratively speaking, the game's story could be described more akin to a book, a novel. With three characters comes three different perspectives, and each with a separate background and their own set of missions and experiences. Secondly, the gameplay benefits are much more obvious. The action is able to flow throughout a mission, whilst the player is able to rappel down into chaos as Michael. Rockstar felt the firefight that followed could somehow get tedious, and so the action soars once again from Franklin's perspective. The switching system enables you to experience nothing but the extremes of mayhem that is GTA. This provides for the craziest GTA missions yet, which aims to avoid the simple shootouts of the previous game, and nearly all core missions feel essential to the main storyline. Some of the more tame mission segments exist in order to add more substance to characters, as with Mike's son.
Hey Lord! Looks like you're buying your own TV.
Or some missions help introduce some sandbox elements like cycling or triathlons. So all in all, mission structure is very well thought out. Meet Michael, retired bank robber, bored with the prospect of settling down. Family problems, but generally a cool cat. Franklin, tired of the same old clowns and low-end petty crimes. He wants more.
Bring me my coffee, I'm gonna cut your arm off.
Trevor, psycho, sadistically hilarious and unrelenting.
Nice new tits, by the way.
I could relate to two of these characters. The relationships between these characters are gold. The writing has never been better. Or crazier. Voice acting, as expected, is nothing but phenomenal. Past games have done a great job of parodying real-life values or institutions. GTA 5 takes things a step further. There is a very sharp, clever way and sometimes ironic take on LA, touching upon ideas of social networking problems and freedom of information, materialism, and all ends of the political spectrum. The storyline itself does not limit itself to the same old revenge plots typically found in video games, or GTA 4 for example. GTA 5 starts out very simple, and slowly begins to introduce its many themes before too many spanners are thrown into the works. Therefore, the pacing to the game, in my opinion, is perfect. The core element to the game are the heists, with two methods being stealth or the more loud and stupid approach. It's your decision to choose the crew for the job. The less experienced or qualified members demand lower takes, but with a bum crew you'll soon find out, like I did, that it pays to shell out a few more G's in most cases. Missions include gassing out a jewelry store before robbing it and escaping down a brilliantly crafted underground construction with the loot. Or another one of the earlier heists required you to steal a chopper and then use a submarine to lift an agency's top secret weapon. There was still more potential for these heist missions. Some were better than others, one or two underwhelming. I felt I wanted a little more control or a few more options to choose from in the full scope of things. Third-person shooting in GTA is pretty damn good. Cover is now very reliable and the animations of characters spot on. GTA 5 takes more after Max Payne 3's mechanics, which I think are the best in the industry right now, but I've only played Max on the PC. On consoles, I thought this game's controls weren't precise enough to feel satisfying in free aim, and the traditional assisted aiming makes the game all too easy in my opinion. This is not a major criticism, however, and the shooting will actually aid my overall score for the game. Guns are varied, of course, borrowing some weapons from the past game. Weapons can now be equipped with little things like suppressors and extended mags. New additions include tear gas and a jerry can, which can be used to create fires. Again, there isn't quite enough power in consoles to go nuts, and gasoline will start to disappear. The game now features a gun wheel selection, and players will be able to carry as many guns as they like, even if they're of the same kind. Each character possesses different skill sets that can be improved on by performing the relevant action. Cycling, for instance, improves stamina, enabling the player to run for longer. There are also 3 unique abilities: Michael's to slow down time, Trevor, increased damage intake and output, and Franklin, slow motion driving and improved handling. And the handling of vehicles feels a lot more arcade. Cars seem extremely light and handling is very responsive, maybe too responsive. Franklin's ability makes me think Need for Speed. There are no similarities to GTA 4's driving mechanics. All cars handle slightly differently, some with insane handling and others move like massive cows. Police cars are now better able to box you in, and by the gods, things escalate very quickly and it's much more difficult to escape the law. Usually when you kill a pedestrian there's a 50-50 chance of obtaining a star, but one criticism is that there's hardly any police patrols or wandering cops around San Andreas, which is odd. Vehicles can once again be customized, now including armor, bulletproof tires and all kinds of cosmetic additions. For some of the best cars, planes or boats, you'll want to check out the websites in-game and purchase them there. The radio, for me, is, well, the worst in the series. Classic rock my ass. I listen to all kinds of genres, but for Los Angeles, I was expecting at least a few rock, metal bands, anything. It's subjective of course and won't affect my scoring, but after radio stations of past games like V-Rock, Flash FM, K-Dust, or even K-Ro's country music, I pretty much played the game with the radio off. The commentary stations are great though, dialogue is ridiculous, and again, well written, and all in coordination with the game's themes and culture. The game's smartphone can quick save your game, therefore returning to a safe house to do so is not necessary. Your cell phone can also take self-pictures. The Rockstar iFruit app can be used outside of the game for tablets and mobiles. Supposedly it can be used to train a vicious dog called Chop for the core game. I didn't get to test this out, as 1, it's available only for iOS at this time, no Android, and 2, the servers have been bombarded and not all that many people have had success with making it work. Graphically, it's a fairly pretty game, and for the size and scope of the game, it really is phenomenal and somewhat difficult to imagine could happen on these consoles. But draw distance is a bit disappointing most times. Clouds and mist try to mask the console's limitations. Textures can be very muddy with a blurry ass resolution, and pop-in objects can be very annoying. Then again, there really isn't all that many bugs in the game, surprisingly. But one of the more negative points is that there is a serious lack of interiors in the game. The checkpoint system in missions is a lot more consistent now, thankfully. Rockstar have tried their hand at stealth, of sorts, which is much appreciated, but very basic in all. The game's ranked medals make return, providing for mission replayability for you completionists. Again, I would have liked to have seen some actual free roam heists, not catered for the main story. There's only a handful of heists in the game after all, but it's still impressive.
When the price of gas keeps on rising!
Content is king in a sandbox game, and Rockstar have implemented more than ever for GTA 5. We're talking very sophisticated golf games, tennis, hunting, and races of all kinds. Red Dead Redemption's random events are also apparent in San Andreas, the best of which I found occurred in a hairdresser's, whereby I managed to stop a robbery and earn a 25% discount for life. You can also purchase profitable business properties and garages for your vehicles. One of the biggest investments would be the golf course at $150 million. Players can also earn some green through stock markets. The single player market can be played through some of Franklin's assassination type contracts to force a fluctuation. Outside of that, you can perform some free roam actions for minimal effects. The only other way to estimate a change in stocks would be to listen to the radio and figure out what's gonna happen. But all the random websites, even the ones you can't use, really add more life to GTA 5. One thing could be said for planes and helicopters in this game. They all fly really well, and flight school issues some good training if you need it. Some of the planes are huge. The Hydra fighter jet also makes return, and it's friggin' awesome. Not to mention tanks. But in conclusion, this is definitely the most ambitious GTA game yet, and with a budget exceeding $270 million. I dub the most expensive game of all time. Developers have pushed the adult theme boundaries with 5. Its torture scene has stirred controversy, and it is awesome. Unite gamers, embrace the pixelated violence. This is GTA after all. Grand Theft Auto Online is not yet released at this time, and therefore has not been counted in this review. But GTA 5 is the best combination of everything in the series. These characters are some of the best developed in video games. The level of crazy and chaos is amped up to the max. Devs have listened to the criticisms of GTA 4 and have returned Grand Theft Auto to its former glory, San Andreas. I issue Grand Theft Auto 5 a 10 out of 10. Save for a few graphical disappointments and lost potential for heists, it would truly be nitpicking not to award this title with a 10 out of 10. I considered a 9.5 without being able to test the multiplayer, but slapped myself in the face and compared this game to every other sandbox out there, and then I compared it to every other genre. This has been Jazz for Jazz Reviews, with likely Game of the Year, Grand Theft Auto 5. Available for Xbox 360 and PS3. Pick this title up at the full retail price tag. It's worth every penny. For more reviews like these, subscribe and visit my channel. Follow me all you want on Twitter and stay up to date, because I will be making a Rockstar crew as soon as GTA Online is released. I'll let you know which one to join, and we'll rob some banks together. But thanks a bunch for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.